Hi, Joe Gallagher with Heidi Heinrich McClanahan at Henderson Chevrolet, and we're going to go over some of your personalization features that you could do as far as driving inputs with the Corvette. So let's start her up. It's going to start up and we're going to be in touring mode, so it's going to be a nice, quiet, mild sounding car. You know, sounds pretty good. You won't wake up the neighbors or drive the kids crazy. Now with my auto mode selector, I can go through all my driving modes here. It's going to start in touring. You got your sport, and obviously you can hear the exhaust here. Big difference in exhaust note. And as I go, you'll notice my screen here change too. If I'm in a sportier mode, you know, there's certain things that I might want to know better, like my RPM, so I have a huge gauge there, and then I go over to the track mode. It's going to increase my sensitivity on the steering. It's going to decrease my traction control and my active handling, so I'm more in control of the car. And it's going to open up my straight pipes on my exhaust, so I have the optimum performance that I could get out of the exhaust. And if you notice on my instrument cluster there, I have track times and a huge RPM gauge. I have some lights up here that'll correspond with that RPM gauge. They'll start going over 3,500 RPMs, so I can see a light visual out of the view of my eye without directly looking at it, you know. And you have your heads-up display here. So one of the other ways to personalize this car is you go into your settings here and into your driving modes, and you have your engine sound management, which you could put on auto mode selector. That way whenever I change this into my touring mode, my eco mode, my weather mode, they're going to be all detuned and running through the resonators. But once I go into my track or sport mode, big change of difference. If I like that sound, I can keep it set all the time on any one of them. So if I want that open all the time, I could do that. I just go right to track and it's going to stay there. Or if I don't want it to be loud, I could go to stealth. But anything that happens on this thing after 3,500 RPMs is going to go through, your exhaust is going to go through your straight pipes and bypass the resonators automatically at 3,500 RPMs. Now, if we go back one, you can also see that I could change my steering. So as I go from touring to sport to track, the steering is going to get tighter and tighter. I want a lot more precise steering in my track. I don't want that play like I'm on a nice California coastal road, you know, just going through some nice easy turns. I want it tight and precise. Now that's my one set of settings, and then I have my other settings over here where I can go right down into my options, and now I could change my instrument cluster here and personalize that as well. So if I'm on the tour and I am taking it really nice, there's a different theme for that, okay, as you can see, and we'll go through these themes for you. So there's your touring, your sport, and then of course your track. And then there's the option also, if you'd like to just link that all together to your driving mode. Okay, again, that's your performance traction management system right here. And while we're looking at that, you can see there's a button inside this dial here. Now when I hit that once, it's going to turn off my traction control, so I'll be able to spin tires. But if I keep holding it down, you'll see the active handling will come off. Okay, now the car will stop using the brakes to help control the vehicle. Okay, I'm in complete control. So let's watch that. There goes my traction control. Okay, and there goes my active handling. Now in the stick shift, once I do this, if this is an automatic in a stick shift, I could go into launch control modes and everything where it'll rev it to 3,500 RPMs. I just sidestep the clutch and it all electronically engages itself to maximize my acceleration and minimize my wheel spin. So that's some of the easy customizations that come from General Motors standard on the vehicle. It's pretty neat. You know, I have a couple vehicles. I got a Toyota and I have a Pontiac, and they're sports cars, and none of them can do anything like that, I mean, at all. So what's nice with this is, you know, either in the morning, you know, you don't have to wake up the neighbors. Like I said, get all the dogs barking. I start one of my cars and the whole neighborhood goes crazy. So it's nice that GM gives you an option like that on a car like this where you can dial it down. Let's face it, not everybody wants a giant exhaust being obnoxious around their neighborhood. So that's one good sign of it. And the other is with the steering inputs. You know, that really gives you a lot of option in the car, you know, to soften up that suspension, the steering, and have a nice time and drive the car a little more mild, because let's face it, even in a sports car, you're not driving like a bat out of hell every single day, so all the time. And that's what makes this car so versatile, you know. On this eco mode, I'll go through those real quick for you as well. So you have your weather mode. That's where my traction control is at the tightest and my steering's at the loosest. So if I do make a little bit of mistake or oversteer or understeer, I'm not in a big world of hurt and trouble. As I go down from there into eco mode, now the car is going to run on 4 cylinders for up to 15 minutes on the highway under light load, and it'll reactivate all the cylinders for 3 minutes and then switch back off. It monitors what cylinders are deactivated and for how long, and it'll balance that out among all 8 cylinders so that you're not just running on 4 or these 2 wore out faster than these other 6. They balance out how much the cylinder deactivation is per cylinder, so it keeps that all nice and even. People tell me crazy, phenomenal fuel economy on this, like 32 miles per gallon I hear on the highway on eco mode going back to California when I sell my California customers. The worst I've ever heard anybody, it was 28, and they call up to tell me how great, they can't believe they're getting that kind of fuel economy on a Corvette in eco mode. But it's a 4-cylinder for 15 minutes out of 18 minutes that you're running it on 4 cylinders. Now I go over to my my touring mode here, and this is kind of a neutral setting for the car. The suspension is kind of in a neutral zone. If you have the magnetic ride control, it's going to be a medium soft. My steering is inputted in a medium manner, and my traction control and active handling, it's not all the way geeked up, but it's not all the way low and let me do whatever I want. So that's the normal mode most people use, is your touring mode. Then we go up to sport. Okay, sport themes, you know, you're on the street, you're not really beating the crap out of the thing. It doesn't really adjust into your transmission as much as the track mode does. Okay, so when I'm in track mode, it's going to hold those gears a lot longer. If I let off the gas, it's not going to just upshift into a nice easy gear for fuel efficiency. It'll hold that gear thinking that I'm going to get back on it real quick. So there is a difference between that track and the sport mode. As far as the shifting of the vehicle goes, that's where you'll see the difference in that most. So, you know, from all my experience, people love these options in the car. It's really something different. So if you're ever down in the area, come check one out and we'll take it for a ride. I hope everybody has a good day, and thank you from Henderson Chevy.